Hello, I think today's video is going to be Schmincke themed. I'd bought this pretty pink palette from Schmincke a little while ago and I've been waiting to get it out and have a bit of a swatch and paint mixing session with it. In my mind, Schmincke isn't up there with my favourite brands, and that's not necessarily a very fair judgment of them, but I think it's because they dry harder than a lot of other brands, and I do like paints which are easy to re-wet. And then quite a while ago now, I'd bought the Dot Card, but because they are harder to re-wet, I didn't particularly enjoy the process of swatching all of these, and I probably didn't experience the paints in their best light. But while I was thinking more about Schmincke, I decided to go through my paint tins and get out all of the Schmincke, and I actually had more than I thought. So I'll probably enjoy swatching these all out later in the video. But I'll take a look at this first. So this is a limited edition set and comes with this very bright tin. And this is just one of your regular metal watercolour palettes. I prefer this to a couple of Schmincke palettes I've had in the past because this one's got the rolled edges on it, and previous Schmincke tins that I've had just have kind of like a raw metal edge here, and I really do not enjoy those. I've sold all of my previous Schmincke tins because of that. I'd bought a couple at the same time. But a lot of the current Schmincke paints I've got aren't just your basic colours, and so I quite liked the range in here just to try out more of a mixing palette. This set also comes with a Da Vinci No. 2 quill brush or mop. I've caught some of the bristles on the wrong side of the cover there. So I'm just going to open these up and do a quick swatch of them. So I'll spray these down with water. And because the brush that they come with is so large, I'm going to use a smaller size 8 silver black velvet brush for swatching. So I've got chromium yellow hue lemon. I think I'll just swatch these out and I'll write the details underneath. It'll be a little bit quicker. Then we've got pure yellow. That's a really pretty yellow, and it's a bit more light fast at 4 out of 5 stars than the chromium yellow hue lemon. Then this is quinacridone red light. And this is PR207, which is a pigment I've kind of been enjoying more lately. It's kind of got that coral tint to it. Then we've got ruby red, which is PV19. Oh yes, that's like quinacridone rose in some other brands. Then in the set there were 3 pinky purples to tie in with the pink theme. And the first is this brilliant opera rose. Then we've got purple magenta. I guess at this stage, I'd say they just seem like they do what they say on the tin. Good, clean, reliable paints that do what you expect them to do. So far these are all transparent apart from the ruby red that's semi-transparent. Then we've got quinacridone violet. This is PV19. I mean, I think this is a beautiful colour paint. This is Sennelier's version. This is M. Graham's version. I'm just wanting to paint a few of these out. It probably sounds a bit silly, but when I painted out the Schmincke, it doesn't seem to excite me in the same way as when I painted out some of the other brands. And I'm trying to work out why that is. And lastly, this is Roman Schmoll's version. Because whenever I know I'm going to be painting with one of these three, I look forwards to it. There's kind of a bit of anticipation about them because I know they're such nice paints. But when I was painting this one, it didn't have quite the same feel. So I'm just going to paint the Schmincke again and see. See, I don't think there's any real difference. I think it must be kind of a psychological thing in me, because it's an equally nice paint. Maybe it is just literally that the other three wet a bit more readily than the Schmincke. So then we've got Ultramarine Finest. I haven't tried any of these before. I've got Schmincke's regular French Ultramarine, which I really like because of how heavily it granulates. Then we've got Helio Cerulean. And though it's got cerulean in the name, it's a phthalo blue, PB15:3. And then we've got the only paint in the set, which I already had. And this is Prussian Green. And I really like this one. So this one's actually a mixture of phthalo green and Indian throne blue, PB60. Then we've got phthalo green, PG7. It's probably my least favourite colour, painted straight from a pan, but I know it's a good mixing colour. I need to spend some time playing with some mixers with it. Then we've got yellow raw ochre. Oh, I like that one. I think that's my favourite kind of ochre, where it's not too opaque and it's got a little bit of kind of earthiness to it. So this is a mixture of PY42 and PY43, and it's the first paint so far that's got the full 5 stars light fastness. Then we've got transparent brown. And that's a PBR 41, which isn't a pigment I've used before. It's quite a nice one. It reminds me a little bit of the pigment PBR 25 in my head. No, that's... a kind of bluer brown. Well, reddy bluey. That's more yellowy. It's got the same nice transparency about it though. Then we've got green umber. That tends to be a lower tinting strength paint, but being pre-wet this was absolutely fine. It reminds me of Daniel Smith's greenish raw umber. This one's not been pre-wet though. Yeah, they're very similar. Yeah, that's nice to have. And then lastly, I've got this neutral grey. That's quite nice. So I think that's quite a nice range of colours. I think it's quite a nice mixing palette, though it's a very smooth palette. There's almost no granulation in any of the paints. So on its own, this wouldn't be enough for me. But there is plenty of room in the tin for more paints. So fairly quickly now, I'm just going to swatch out my other Schmincke paints. So this is Schmincke's Naples Yellow Reddish. Quite an opaque colour because of the white pigment in it. It's PY42, PW6, PW4 and PR242. Then Galaxy Pink. And this is from the Supergranulation range. And that's PV19 and PBR33. Then this is one of the few paints. This is Quinacridone Purple, which I bought as a result of testing out the whole dot chart, the full range. And this is one that I really fell in love with. It's kind of got a wonderful cool undertone. And then one of my absolute favourite paints is Cobalt Violet Hue. And this is PV62. This is my go-to colour for light shadow on beaches. And I pair it with A Gallows Notturno for the dark shadows. So the two kind of purpley colours. And this is Tundra Pink from the Supergranulation range. And then this is Haze Pink, which is okay, but I'm not the biggest fan of that one. So Tundra Pink is a mixture of PB29 and PR233, so ultramarine and Potter's Pink. And then the Haze Pink is a mixture of PR233, the Potter's Pink, and PB36. And another one from the Supergranulation range, and this is Tundra Violet. And I really quite like this one. It's PB29 and PBR6. And then this is Ultramarine Violet. And this is a mixture of PV15 and PB29. Then we've got the fantastic French ultramarine, one of the most crazy granulating paints that I've got. And then we've got what's become one of my favourite paints, and this is Haze Indigo. And I like this colour for the sea when it's kind of more of a wintry sea. Then I've got Haze Blue, which was in the same set, but I don't like this one as much because it kind of dries with like a yellowish tinge. It's lovely when you lay it down. Then Prussian Blue. And this is the Prussian Green, which I swatched in the other set. So the French ultramarine is PB29, the Haze Indigo is PB29, PG26 and PBR33. The Haze Blue is PY43, PB29 and PBR7. The Prussian Blue is PB27. The Prussian Green is PG7 and PB60. And then another of the Supergranulation paints. This is Deep Sea Green. And this is PG18 and PB29. Then we've got the lovely Cobalt Green Turquoise, PB36. And then this is Ice Blue, very, very pale. So PW6 and PB15:1. Then Schmincke Forest Blue, Shire Blue, both called blue but both look green to me. Then Cobalt Green Dark, PG26. Then I've got two more from the Shire range, and I probably wouldn't have bought these individually. And these are two of the hardest to re-wet, least pigmented paints. This is Shire Green, PY159 and PG18, and Shire Olive, again PY159 but with PB35. And then onto some really great natural greens. These are all from the Forest range. So this is Forest Brown. PG26 and PY43. Then Forest Olive, PG18 and PY43. And then Forest Grey, which is PBR7, PG50 and PBK11. Then we've got Galaxy Brown, another Supergranulation colour. I really like that one. And then this is one of the other colours. This is Mahogany Brown, which I bought after swatching the dot cards. And I liked how this granulated as well. Then probably my favourite sepia. This is Sepia Brown. And I like it because of how cool and dark it is. So the Galaxy Brown is PV62 and PBR6. The Mahogany Brown is PBR33. And the Sepia Brown is PB15:1, PBR7 and PBK9. And then the last three, I've got Desert Grey, which is a good kind of neutral, not too strong. Oh, I've missed out one of my real favourites, haze brown. It's almost like a sepia, but like a really granulating version of a sepia. Then haze black. That's a nice one if you don't want something quite as strong as black, and it's got good granulation as well. And then the last one of my absolute favourite paints, is Shire Grey. I think this is such a useful colour when you're doing buildings and things. And that was the main grey that I used. But since then, I've also discovered Rosa Gallery's Cobalt Grey, which I also absolutely love. So it's these two. The Shire Grey is a bit more greeny blue, and the Cobalt Grey's a little bit warmer. But I really like both of those kind of equally now. So the Desert Grey is PY159 and PBK11. The Haze Brown is PBR7 and PBK11. The Haze Black is PB36, PBR33 and PBK11. And the Shire Grey is PY158, PB74 and PBK11. I did a previous video where I was swatching some of my favourite granulating paints. I'll link to it down below. And I did try mixing some of my own versions of them, and I could get quite good approximations for quite a few of the granulation colours, but I didn't have as much success with the ones which had PBK11 in. They didn't seem to granulate in the same way as the Schmincke Supergranulation paints. So yeah, some of these are easier to mix and others I couldn't manage. So I've never seen all of my Schmincke's in one place together, but there's definitely a natural landscapey, seascapey theme going on here. And they complement these smooth, good mixing colours perfectly, I think. Of all the Schmincke tubes that I've had though, these are the only ones that I've hung on to. So the Ultramarine Violet, the Haze Brown, Prussian Blue, Haze Indigo, Prussian Green, French Ultramarine. And when the pans that I've got do run out, I'll definitely be buying the Cobalt Violet hue again. The Forest Brown, the Sepia Brown. I've already got the Haze Brown tube, and the Shire Grey. So I think I'll do a painting now, and I'll primarily try to use this palette, but I might be tempted to dip into my more granulating Schmincke's during it. And then I just thought I should show you the brush that comes with the set in case anyone's checking out this video, deciding whether to get this set or not. So it's a very big brush. You're not going to fit it in the pans particularly well. It's going to be better if you've made a wash kind of in the lid, then you can get the whole brush in if you need to. So yeah, you can cover very broad areas. And still get reasonably fine marks with it. It's very, very soft. Hasn't got quite the level of control I prefer for a brush, but it's still very nice. I've just pulled out my A5 Seawhites travel journal, which is watercolour paper, and I've not done anything in here for a long time. I haven't really felt much like getting sketchbooks out for quite a long time now. I think most of my art energy this year has been going on keeping up with paintings for the gallery, which I'm part of. But it's coming up for a year that I'll have been at the gallery now, and I've decided to leave. My back's been horrible since my hip replacement, and I was really, really struggling sitting all day at the gallery. But also I've got quite a bit of travelling coming up. It was really, really nice selling paintings through the gallery, but I'll have to figure out a new way forward now.
I'm doing this voiceover bit a few days later, and I've got a bit of a cold, which is why my voice sounds a bit odd. For the painting then, I'm doing all wet on dry paper, after doing a pencil sketch of a scene based on a photo which I took at St Ives a couple of weeks ago. I used the brush which came with the set for quite a while, and then later on I switched to smaller brushes. It holds a lot of paint and was pretty enjoyable to use. I start by doing fairly light washes over most of the painting. I keep the areas separate and only paint right up to another area of paint once it's dried. Though within each area I will use a few different colours of paint. Like with the sea here, I'm blending several different colours.
Not a star in the sky could steal your light. You are the diamond in the dark. No oceans out there can wash you away. There is no way that you can break. The good in you makes a better me, and you're easily the best part I see. You're a fighter, you're a fighter. Now I see what life could be when you're standing next to me. You're a fighter, you're a fighter. I'm higher, higher, higher than ever before. I'm higher, higher, higher than ever before. The good in you makes a better me, and you're easily the best part I see. You're a fighter, you're a fighter. Now I see what life could be when you're standing next to me. You're a fighter, you're a fighter. I'm higher, higher, higher than ever before. I'm higher, higher, I'm higher than ever before. The good in you makes a better me, and you're easily the best part I see. You're a fighter, you're a fighter. Now I see what life could be when you're standing next to me. You're a fighter, you're a fighter.
So here's my slightly more messy palette now. And these are all the colours which I used. I feel a bit out of practice with this kind of watercolouring and overworked it a little bit. So I added in a bit more white with a Holbein soft white pencil and a Uni Posca. This is the PC1 MR with a fine metal nib. It was enjoyable using the palette though. I used the Ultramarine Finest, the Helios Cerulean, the Prussian Green, the Phthalo Green and the Yellow Raw Ochre for the majority of the painting. But then I did enjoy using some more granulating paints for the rocks and greenery. So I hope you enjoyed watching that anyway. Thanks ever so much. Bye!